Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. The hype train for Rise of Iron is on full steam ahead with a lot of new details like the return of the Khvostov as an exotic weapon, new ornaments to customize your weapons, and the return of Thorn. Yes, Thorn is back in year 3. Let's jump in. Just like they did with The Taken King, Game Informer is releasing a lot of exclusive information about Rise of Iron. They've teased some of that information in a brand new trailer. It includes some very interesting gameplay moments, so of course I went ahead and picked it apart. So if you haven't seen it yet, click on the image on screen or the link in the description. Now, as we learn more information from Game Informer, unfortunately a good portion of that news is behind their digital subscription paywall. So if you want to learn more, you'll have to go ahead and get that membership. But of course, it is an inevitability that a lot of that information is going to find its way to places like NeoGAF or Reddit, with the most celebrated piece of news from that being the return of the Khvostov in exotic form. If you recall back to the beginning of your playthrough of Destiny, the Khvostov 7G02 is the first weapon you pick up in the game. It is an old AK-47 style auto rifle with a characteristic broken sight. Well, it looks like you clean up that auto rifle pretty nicely, as the new Khvostov 7G0X is one of the new exotic weapons coming in Rise of Iron. And that's not even the most exciting part. The really interesting part about this exotic weapon are its perks. Unlike other exotic weapons that have very unique and characteristic exotic perks, the Khvostov forgoes that to give you the option between different firing behaviors. In the first exotic column perk, you have 3 choices between automatic, burst, or semi-automatic. This lets the weapon operate like an auto rifle, a pulse rifle, or a full auto scout rifle. Now, if that wasn't cool enough, this is where things get even more interesting. In the final exotic perk column, you also have a choice between different RPMs. RPM is of course rounds per minute, and you can switch it between 450 and 900. And of course you can see in this screenshot, by increasing your RPM to 900, you are also effectively reducing your impact while increasing your stability. And so they also reported that if you do the math, you can see that there are over 100 different ways of customizing this weapon. So essentially you can bet that everyone is going to be chasing this new Khvostov, and it's probably going to be seen a lot in things like the Crucible. I'm pretty excited for it simply because of how many customization options there are, meaning that I'm going to be able to switch these perks on the fly depending on the encounter. Now, another interesting thing to note are the 2 octagonal shaped nodes at the very right side. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the upgrade screens for any other weapons from Rise of Iron, so it's hard to say if these 2 nodes are specific to this weapon or if they apply to all weapons in Rise of Iron. One thing we do know is that there are new items called ornaments that will change your weapon's appearance. They are essentially activity-exclusive items that will make your weapon appear like they're from that activity. They're essentially just another way for you to customize your appearance, which is always a welcome thing. Another cool detail in reference to exotic weapons is the return of new exotic weapon quests. Those include quests for guns like the Yellowhorn, and one for the Thorn. Yes, Thorn is coming back in year 3, and there's an exotic quest to get it. Now, if you're worried about Thorn's damage over time effect, which was the bane of a lot of Guardians' existence in year 1, you can be a little bit more rest assured. And it really has to do with artifacts. I'm going to be going over artifacts in much more detail in the next video, but artifacts do a lot more in Rise of Iron. They've been completely revamped, and they add certain abilities to your class that will complement your playstyle. One example is an artifact that significantly reduces all damage over time effects. A couple other examples of artifacts that give you special abilities is one that lets you lose your super, but gain an extra grenade in melee and boosts all of your stats. Or an artifact that speeds up super recharge for all nearby allies. Now, of course, this has major implications to gameplay, so I'll be going over all of that soon. But anyways, what do you think of the return of the Khvostov and Thorn? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe for more Destiny content. And I will see you all next time. Here we have our first glimpse into the new Crucible game mode titled Supremacy.